Hello and welcome back. Assalamu alaikum and may peace be with you guys. Uh, let's start our lab. Before I start doing any of the configuration, let me give you some overview of this topology. We can see we have different sites here. Site 1 is going to be our headquarter site, and we have site 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are our branch offices that we need to connect with the SD-WAN. Uh, so we have on every site we have our internal router that has uh, all of these loopback addresses, and this has two interfaces between the edge and the router, where I'm possibly gonna make two separate VPN service VPNs. That's why I have two of the. You can see I have colored these as a brown. This is black. So this is going to be my service VPNs that I'm going to build. Then from edge to MPLS routers, we have 192.168.103.0/30 point-to-point network, and connect for the connectivity we're gonna use between these routers default routes and OSPF as our routing protocol. And the second transport that I'm going to configure between these WAN edges is going to be just internet to mimic internet. Uh, so both of these have point-to-point connectivity as well. So 192.191.103.0/30 is going to be the network connectivity. Similarly, all of these other sites are configured with more or less same, just a little change of the networks. So all of these loopbacks are going. I'm going to define and configure these interfaces. Then to establish this basic connectivity or build this underlay network so that we have a basic reachability between our sites and our branch office and our headquarter. The underlay network is the physical network infrastructure that connects network devices such as routers, switches, uh, and routers all together, and routes traffic between these devices using the traditional routing mechanism like OSPF, BGP, or static routes. In SD-WAN network, this is called the underlay network. And underlay network is typically made up of the connections from the WAN edge router, or edge router, vEdge routers, to the transport network, and includes the transport network itself. Like all of from this vEdge to the uh, the 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 s- the site headquarter site vEdge, everything that comes under this connectivity is called the underlay network. And all of these connections, they are called as transport, and all of the transports, they are the part of the VPN 0 in SD-WAN. And we also call this VPN 0 as the transport VPN as well. So all of the available transports, they are basically part of the VPN 0. You will see once we configure this VPN 0. So once this underlay network is built, then we onboard these devices uh, and configure these controller devices. Uh, all these VPN, the basic configuration of the VPN 0, so that we can uh, build this overlay fabric where all of these edges they establish the connectivity over the VPN 0 on all the available transports. And once we have this connectivity overlay is built, then we build the IPsec tunnels between these sites for the data traffic. So this underlay and overlay fabric all is the control traffic. Once we build this fabric, then we create like service VPNs between these sites for the connectivity. So that's basically is the data plane. Data traffic never goes onto the control plane. The data traffic is normally site to site between these sites. So let's start configuring this topology. So let me add another device. So for site 5, just to show you how we can add the new device. For this, uh, just need to right click, add node, and then I need to add edge device, select VPL edge, and I have different versions available, 26. So I have deployed 20.26.5 in this lab. Just leave all the settings as default and save. So we can edit this once again to name it site 5. We say vEdge 5. Okay, we place our vEdge router here, and then we connect our the interface of our G01 with our internet transport, and then we configure another connection with our MPLS transport. And both of these interface we are going to configure under the VPN 0. Right, so we can change the colors, edit. So this is our apply, and edit this as well, edit. This is our internet transport traffic, apply, okay. And now we add another router. Let's add this is our site 5 UA, and let's connect this with our interface. Right, so this router you can see here, I have not connected yet, but I'll do this in the later once I want to show you how we can have the two edge routers um, deployed as active standby. All right, so now let's start turning on these devices. And first of all, I'm going to configure this headquarter router, MPLS, and internet routers, so that we can have our basic connectivity between all these devices. So I'm going to wipe any of the configuration if there is, so that I can configure all of them from the start. Right, I have wiped all of these configurations. Now let's start our First of all, a headquarter router and then MPLS router. Let's start internet. And I'm going to also start these controllers. Let's start them. They're going to take a while to come up. So you need to be very patient with them. Let it run. Okay, you can see it straight away gone to red. It has some issues. So if you find this kind of issue, then you try wiping it. If it doesn't, then you might have to probably replace the node. Moved all the config, and sometime it behaves like this. So let's try if it runs, starts. If it doesn't, then all we need to do is we just need to replace and add a different node, a new node. Okay, looks like it started. You can see a green triangle. So all of them, they're starting. This router is started. I've started this router and all of them. Let's go and configure them. To go to the console, you can just click over the device, and if you have configured super putty, so the window will come up for this console. And if you need to know how to set up this super putty, I got another video. You can watch that video. Right, so this is our headquarter one. Let's bring up our MPLS router and the internet router as well. So at the moment we don't have any configuration on these routers. We're gonna follow the topology and configure step by step on these routers. I'm also gonna console to these vManage, vBond, and vSmart as well, just to show you how these are doing at their boot up. vManage is the one is going to take the most of the time, and if it doesn't, you might have to configure it again. I don't see any activity on the screen, so if you have a similar issue, you can see the vBond is up, but vSmart and vManage, I don't see any activity on the console. So in that case, we can just stop both of them and give it another few wipes. Wipe it again. And let's start it again. And let's go to our vManage. It will pop up. Click again. Now, there you go. You can see now there is some activity on the console. That means it's now booting. Let's start our vSmart 2 and then console it. Click again. There we go. vSmart. vSmart. Yes, it is started again. You can see some activity on the console. So that means it's starting. Let's see our vBond. So the default password is admin and then admin. Okay. All right. So you can see this. It's saying system is initializing. Please wait. So it's not ready yet. So and this vManage and vSmart, they are still booting. Meanwhile, they boot. Let's go and configure our um, headquarter router. So first of all, to configure this, enable configure T and then Host name is the first thing that we're going to change, and this is our headquarter. Router 1 and no IP lookup, so that it doesn't hangs up if we give any unknown command. All right, so now uh, just to check the IP address interfaces. So the interfaces we are going to configure is, we can see our one of the interface, our 0/0 is connected to our MPLS, 0/1 is connected to our internet, 0/2 is connected to our the vManage, all of these controllers network, and 0/3 is connected to our uh, edge router site, headquarter edge router. Let's configure these interfaces. So let's configure the interface 80/0, and we know that 0/0 is connected to MPLS. So description, we're gonna be MPLS connection link, MPLS link, and then IP address. Okay, so this is because image of a switch, we need to give another command which is no switch port to turn it into our interface. The Ethernet interface. Okay, so now it's we can add. Otherwise, you will not be able to assign an IP address. IP address and 192.168.101. This is going to be 2, and 255.255.255.252 is going /30 network and no shut. And then similarly exit interface Ethernet going to be our 0/1, 0/1, and then this link is our internet link description. Internet link, no switch port, IP address is going to be 192.1. Oh, sorry, this is 191.1.1.101.2. Again, 255.255.252/30 network, no shut. Then exit. Configure interface 0/2, the interface that is connected with our SD-WAN controller transport interface. Interface 80/2, then no switch port. IP address is going to be 199.1.14 and 255.255.48. No shut. And now configure the 03 interface. Interface Ethernet 0/3 and no switch port. IP address is going to be 199.1.1.18, then 255.255.248, and then WR to save the configuration. Show IP interface brief to just check all these interfaces, they are up. Right, so let's configure our now MPLS router. again. Okay, you see, you can see I have just given a wrong command and it just now hangs. So this is where the no IP domain lookup helps. Uh, okay, let's meanwhile we do the ISP router. No configure T, no IP domain lookup IP. Now if I say end, look at this. So it will not hang. So okay, configure T, and now configure the IP address. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to configure this interface for now. So 5 interfaces, and let's configure first the interface between the edge headquarter. So this is interface 0/3, interface Ethernet 0/3, then no switchboard IP address. Guys, if you are already familiar how to configure these IP addresses, you can just skip this part and move on to the next part where I'm actually configuring these routing protocols.